What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, you want to do it? You want to do the intro? You don't want to introduce it? Okay. Do it.
Introduce it like you.
Yeah, do it. Let's see what you got.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Reject Bean Podcast. I am your host, Melissa. Eitale. I am joined once again by my lovely husband, Greg. Holla at them.
Hi, everyone. Harder than it looks, huh? You gotta get that. Okay, first of all,
remember everything you say.
First you say Reject Bean Podcast, and then you say Eitale.
Oh, whatever. Hey, I did pretty good for
us not
having a podcast in like,
that's true. That's how we were trying to switch it up. A month? That's been a month, but like 2 weeks.
It feels
maybe.
like it.
It's been roughly 2 weeks. It's okay.
It's been a while.
It's all right. I think our 4 viewers will be okay waiting. My mom and like my cousins and stuff will be fine.
And my sister.
Yeah, they'll understand. Yeah. Shout out.
Sorry for keeping you guys waiting.
Shout out to all the people who listen to us. It's funny because right now we're talking about what were we talking about? We were talking about the fact that it's because we got invited to a birthday party and and you know when guys get invited to things, especially when it's for kids, you know, we only relay, or we should say all guys, but for me, I only relay the information that's given to me. I don't really think about getting more information. So it's funny because, you know, I was like, hey, they invited us to a kid's birthday party, and she's like, okay, how old is the kid? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Is it a boy or girl? I'm like, I'm not really sure. Although I did look at the text, and then she's like, well, what do they like? And I was like, I don't know. You know, she's like, what do you know? I'm like, there's gonna be a party. There's gonna be a Chuck E. Cheese. Boom. Gotta be there. So, but you know, she was like, if you knew, you know, if you know that women are gonna be so, what did you say? Like,
well, okay, you've been married to me for like, I don't know how long, almost 8 years. Almost 8 years. You think you would know when we get invited somewhere, you need to ask all these other questions so we know like what type of gift to get. And I
know, but it's like I was making fun of you because it's like you're like you got to know when their social security number is, you got to know their last known address, you know, like all these things. I was like, I don't think to ask about that stuff, you know. It's like this is where it's at. This is what time it is. Boom.
No, because what, like the present?
No, I know. I understand the logic behind it. I'm just saying that I'm not wired to think that way, and I don't know. What do you guys think? What is this? What am I doing right here?
I don't know.
Do you guys like the new? So there's more space behind us. I know you probably don't notice, but watch an old video. And yeah, you guys like the background? I have no idea what it is because I haven't edited this yet. So
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty. Yeah. Look at that. You're like, that's nice. It's probably just going to be the logo. But anyway, today we wanted to talk about something kind of crazy. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. We do. Something, it's called, I'm going to title this Indoctrination. Whoa. That is not a medical procedure. All right. Indoctrination. What does indoctrination mean to you, baby? If I tell you, hey, what does indoctrination mean? What's the first thing that comes to your head?
Pass.
I don't really? No, like for real. Like, what is it?
You gave me because I didn't know what it was. You gave me a rough like definition.
Right. Well, okay. So the definition in the dictionary, Oxford, is the process.
The Oxford.
The process. Yeah, it's the best one. It's the best of all the Fords. The process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. So why do I want to talk about this? Because, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, I am older than I used to be. I'm older than when I... You guys hear my dog eating? I'm older than I used to be when I started this channel. I started this channel back in 2011.
Was it 2011?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really start like the Reject Bean Soup because it changed. The Reject Bean Soup started back in like 2016? 2016. Beats. Yeah, it was like dual beats. It was Hispanic Panic. A bunch of other crap. But the podcast is really fairly young. But I'm saying I've been making videos for a while, and I'm not the same person. Okay, so what does that have to do with indoctrination?
You should really go back and look at all the old videos.
I mean, they're all there. They're all there. You go to my channel, go to videos, to scroll all the way down, and you're like, holy shit.
First
of all, the production value has gone up substantially. I hope so. You have no idea how long it takes to set all this crap. Like 5 minutes.
So long.
And if she would help me, it would take like 2 minutes. But anyway.
I was eating.
Yes. So what was I saying? Okay, so why am I talking about, what does that have to do with sets of beliefs and whatnot? The thing is, all right, so that as I'm getting older, I feel like I'm getting wiser. And I wanted to pose a question to you, babe. Now, do you remember the the hit sensation, the website that was a hit sensation back in the day when we were in middle school and even high school? MySpace.
Yes.
When you get Tom and Tom will hit you up and be like, oh my God, I got a friend.
I freaking loved MySpace.
Right? MySpace
because
was cool.
I loved how you could
customizable.
you could personalize it.
Customizable. Now, let me ask you something. Did you ever like post like pictures or like videos or like did you ever like because I'm pretty sure I don't remember doing a lot of posting. I just remember I changed my profile a bunch. But like, you know, people like post like you could post like your how you're feeling and like if you're in a relationship.
Yes.
You remember stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Or like liking certain things and like
yes.
Reposting or whatever the hell you did. I actually don't remember how MySpace worked. Like I said, I just had my account just to look at my profile. Anyway, could you imagine, or do you think it's valid now, right? If somebody were to go back into your MySpace account, right, and they were to find something, I'm not saying that you were sitting there posting a bunch of crap, but if somebody were to ask you like, hey, how come you said this, or how come you posted this about ponies back in the day? You said that ponies should be killed and everybody should kill ponies, right? Like no context whatsoever. It's literally that's what you put. Every pony should die. That's
Fuck ponies.
Yeah, that's what you said. You said fuck ponies, and they'd be like, "Whoa, I can't believe it." So you're a pony hater, huh? So we should never ever allow you to go to like my kid's birthday party because I'm gonna have a pony there, so you can't go because you said that.
Right, better not invite me to
yeah.
Freaking ponies are wannabes.
I don't want to fucking go.
They want to be horses, but no, they're not. They're freaking ponies.
It's rejected horses. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't that be kind of ridiculous? Like, wouldn't you be like, what the hell? Like, I said that so long ago. Like, I'm a completely different person. Would you not agree?
Yes.
That is correct. Exactly, right? Like, you've grown up, you know, since then you realize like
I like ponies now.
Since then you watch My Little Pony and you were like, hey, that those things are pretty dope.
They speak to me in a whole nother level.
Right? It's just that equestrian love has grown. No, but I know we're being silly, but the thing is, it's silly because obviously as you grow up and you get more experience, some of the things that you were held to believe, or that you believed, or that you stood by, they could change, right? And you think that's fair, right?
Yes.
But when you talk about indoctrination, when we talk about what? Sorry.
So hold on. So you remember the movie The Waterboy, right?
Yes.
With Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, where his mom made him to believe that everything
yes,
was the devil.
Exactly.
And then, you know, he
had no reason to believe otherwise until he started going to school.
Vicky Valancourt.
Vicky Valancourt. I can't even do it. I don't remember any lines from that. my mom said. Yeah, mom said. But right, he started going to school, right? He started learning about evolution and all the other crap. And like, that's a stupid movie, but well, actually, it's not stupid. It's a great movie. But the thing is that they were poking fun of that, you know, and it was kind of like, that's kind of funny. You know, he thought the alligators didn't brush their teeth. That's why they were cranky all the time. Whatever. Like, it's a silly thing. But likewise, what did everybody react to? They were like, what? What are you talking about, man? This guy's stupid. You know,
you're welcome for that.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. That's a perfect analogy. But I was trying to make it more personal. Okay. That's what I was talking about. MySpace. Anyway, but even so, even like when you first started with Facebook, I mean, Facebook started when we were in high school. So it was like probably 2010, 2011, 20, this is 2009 or 2010. I can't remember for sure, but it was fairly early.
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. And
MySpace wasn't even that.
Dude.
Wasn't around for that long.
Yeah. I guess in terms of like websites, it wasn't really that.
But why not? I liked MySpace more than Facebook just because you can personalize it.
Yeah. Well,
I think have like the little like hearts falling down, you know, then like the music going on.
I think the reason why Facebook got popular was because it was just more toned down. Like,
yeah, and you didn't have to do all that work.
Yeah, it was just like, we're here for what we want, you know. And then Twitter came, and it was like, we're even simpler. You can just say things. But anyway, sorry, we're getting off topic. The thing is, indoctrination is the complete opposite of that. You know, it's not about adapting. It's about like, you believe these things because that's what you do. You don't think about it. You don't question it or whatever. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that, because I feel like some people don't really want to acknowledge that perhaps there are many things that we're taught or we grow up on, and we kind of just keep going. We just kind of keep going with them because they're not challenged, or they're not addressed until eventually you kind of come head to head with somebody who's in a completely different mental not mental states. I mean, like, they're crazy, like just like they think of something differently, or they think of it critically. And then that's when you have to decide, are you going to stick to your guns, or are you going to be open to that new information? And so for me personally, there's a lot of things that even when I was growing up, I talk about this a lot with people, that I was raised Catholic, and then I was Mormon, and then I was Christian. So then I always make the jokes like, well, when I go to heaven, I kind of have like, let's see, where can we go?
He's got his bases
I got
covered.
like, let's see, you guys got better food? No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm just playing. Like, I make jokes like that. But the thing is that because of that, I had like a opportunity, kind of a unique opportunity, to really kind of like think of things critically, and like when I was a kid, my mom, I just kind of went because my mom told me, like, you listen to your parents, especially in Mexican families, you do, because your mom can hit you with the chancla. So you just listen, and you it's not till you start getting older that you start kind of looking at things kind of like objectively, like, well, why are we doing this, and then the other place they were doing that, and then the other place they were telling me this, and apparently this is not the same way as that, you know what I mean? Like, kind of gave me that opportunity, and it was just getting logged in my back of my head, dun, dun, dun. And then when I finally, my mom was like, you know what? Sorry, that was my phone. My mom was like, finally, you know what? Not do whatever you want, but she was kind of like, I'm gonna kind of give you that liberty to follow your faith as you see fit, kind of.
And I will tell you when you're wrong.
Right, and I will tell you, yeah, and I will just criticize the crap out of it. And for me, obviously kind of being like, getting like to that teenage phase, I was like, well, okay, I'm just not going to go to church. Boom. Problem solved. You know what I mean? Like, that was like my mentality. But like, obviously later on I started getting more kind of like, maybe I should give it a different chance. That's when I started going to Christian church. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that, like I said, it gave me like a unique opportunity to really look at things objectively. And I think that it's important that you do that. Not necessarily... Because I think a lot of people, when you want to talk about something, right, that's kind of challenging your faith or whatever, like your way of thinking, I think it's kind of impossible not to get sort of defensive. You know what I mean? Because you're criticizing, or you're commenting on like somebody's beliefs, or somebody's, like I said, just state of mind at that point. I keep saying state of mind, but I mean, it is a state of mind. And I mean, how aren't you gonna? Bleh. Why wouldn't you get defensive? It's the same thing as like when somebody comments on your driving or how do you parent your kids. It's kind of hard not to kind of be like, well, hold on, let me explain. You know what I mean? But nowadays it's getting harder, because it's like, I'm gonna accuse you of something, right? And it's like, you shouldn't have a platform, or you shouldn't have an opportunity to retort, because it's like, like, it's what I say goes, and that's, I think I've been thinking about that a lot because of the situation in the world. It just sucks because nowadays it's like, it's not even about having a discussion, it's just like accusing, like, this is what I think of you, and then that's it, live with it, you know what I mean? Like, say sorry. It's like, I think you're doing a bad thing, apologize. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's not about having discussion. Like, imagine if marriage was like that. It wouldn't be a very good marriage. It's like, why'd you do that?
I think we have a perfectly great marriage. What are you talking about?
No, but imagine if marriage was like that. Like if I just came up to you, was like, why did you do that? Like didn't even ask you, did you do that? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, why'd you do that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like our marriage is like that, and I'm the one. No.
Nah, a little bit.
No. I was making a joke, you ass.
Oh, you didn't like because I turned it back on you.
I apologize.
I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with some of the crap. Sorry, I shouldn't say crap. Some of the things that you learn and you just don't want to let go of, you know? I think from a very young age, you know, I was taught, like I was kind of taught to be afraid of like just doing bad things. Like for the longest time, like I was just really afraid. Like it was kind of like reinforced in my brain. Like you can't do bad things. You can't. And people always call me a nerd. People always call me lame because I'm always trying to do the right thing or I'm trying to be honest or whatever. I mean, I'm still myself. Sometimes I am selfish and whatnot. But for the longest time, I honestly felt like I couldn't. I couldn't. And people was like, Greg is bien portado. And like, he's really nice kid. Because I was scared. You know, my mom always told me if I was bad, she was going to kick my ass. And then my grandma would tell me, like, if you're not good, you're going to go to hell. You know, and then I started learning about, like, first of all, I learned about hell from my grandma, and then people started telling me like, yeah, eventually everyone's gonna die, and then go decide if you go to hell or heaven. And I was like, wait, well, hold on. Not only do I have to be scared of going somewhere that I never even heard of, and it sounds terrible, by the way, I'm gonna die. Like I don't even have an option. Like it's gonna happen, and so I was just deathly afraid of like doing the wrong thing. So everybody always was like, oh, Greg, you know, he's bien portado, like I said, like he's just a really good kid, but I was like, I'm scared. And it wasn't until I was a teenager that I kind of started rebelling. I was like, wait a minute, you know, I don't think, you know, because the Catholics are telling me one thing, but they're over here saying that it's going to be all right as long as I repent. Yeah, as long as I repent. And it was just kind of contradicting. So the thing is, like, I still don't have all the answers. But if I could talk to myself back in that past, you know, I think I could. There's a lot of things that I could have said to myself that I could kind of be like, calm down. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What do you think about that, babe? Do you think that there is validity in kind of letting new information come in, especially as you process or you go through life? You think there's certain things that you've let go, that you've not necessarily let go, but you've like kind of adjusted accordingly?
Well, I mean, I think everybody does when they grow up because, I mean, when you're a kid, you get told all these things, you know, how to act and how you need to be, and you know, and then like when you get older, you kind of get your own, you know, way of thinking. You get your own, like, oh well, I could do that, you know.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of process your own beliefs and process your own.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess. You end up when I was in therapy, they always told you that a lot of the things that happen to you, like there's these core beliefs, and that's what you filter everything through. So I guess like core beliefs, like things that you deep down have experienced or you know for sure are there, you know, because they're just there. I think everything that you let in your brain, you probably do always process it through that. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like it's respect. I've seen it time and time again. If you treat others the way you want to be treated, I mean, 99% of the time you're going to be okay. Things are going to be fine. So for me, it's like, I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want anyone to feel disrespected when I'm talking or I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like I never wanted to do that. So anything that comes into my head, you know, I'm still filtering through that. Like if somebody tells me, oh, did you hear that this person hit their kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God. I'm just going to be like, oh, that's terrible. You know what I'm saying? And then like filter it. And I'm just like, if I had to talk to this person, I would say, hey, with all due respect, even if it sounds ridiculous, it's just like that. It's like that simple. Like with all due respect, or I would ask them. You know what I'm saying? I have to give this person the benefit of the doubt because if somebody came up to me and assumed that I was beating the crap out of my kid, it would suck. It would feel like shit. You know what I mean? Like that's one of my beliefs is respect. I don't know. Do you have like a core belief like that you get?
But I mean, respect is just, you know, I think should be in everybody's core beliefs. Nah, I mean,
that's good. No, yeah, you're right.
I mean,
Definitely.
for me, it's just always trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, I think you and I relate. I think that's why we clicked the first time we got together, because there's a lot of things that we kind of. It wasn't like we sat there and was like, "Hey, do you believe this?" But we kind of were like, "Oh, like we sense that aura," you know.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to always, try to do the right thing. I always try to be a good person and, try to lend out, like, put a helping hand
Right.
out for people and, you know, and, just be a really great person.
Do you think that's something that, like I said, has adjusted, or not necessarily like you don't believe in respect or anything, but like, I guess like an example would be like, do you think that every single person deserves respect? Because one thing about respect is some people think it should be earned. It's not something that's given, and I disagree to a certain extent. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, for me, I've noticed that I tend to give, like when I meet you, when I befriend you and whatever, I will give you my respect. I will give you, my total confidence and everything like that
Right.
in you. Like it's all there, but it's what you do with it that's gonna just kind of determine what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because I give when I love somebody, when I befriend somebody, like I give you my all. And so if, you betray my trust or you do that, it's possible to get it back, but I tend to start like closing off and I start kind of like getting a little bit distant.
Right. So you put everybody at the same level in the beginning, and then you if you have to adjust it, you adjust it accordingly.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some people that, that have done me wrong and stuff like that. And I still keep, trying my hardest to try to give them the benefit of the doubt and try my hardest to still be their friend, because you never know what's going on in their life, and still try my hardest, or like even with my dad, my dad wasn't the best father, but right now I'm still trying to keep in contact with him because, I want him to be able to see his grandkids and whatnot. But I mean, he wasn't the best father.
Yeah.
I mean, he betrayed my trust, and he wasn't, there. So.
Right. But I feel I mean, that's a good example. I mean, at the time, I don't know if you can remember how you felt back then, but at the time you probably felt a certain way, about it. And do you think that you've kind of
well, I mean,
like,
growing up with like you mean like how I felt about my dad, or felt?
Yeah, well, just about the situation with your father. I'm sure that's kind of.
I mean, I had very many different mixed emotions about my dad. I mean, there was a point where I was just terrified of him, just downright terrified. And then there was times where I just hated him, and I'd rather him be in jail.
Yeah.
But now, it's different.
Yeah. What you think it's helped that now you're a parent a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've grown up a lot, and I kind of just, I don't know. I've grown up a lot. I haven't forgotten, my feelings towards my dad, but I'm willing to try to make it better.
Yeah. I mean, and that being said, like we don't know what's gonna happen in the future. That might, it could come back around again, or it can get better, it could get worse. Something could happen that changes the complete dynamic between your relationship. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, because it's like some people don't like to talk about the unpredictability and like the randomness of the universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the reason why. So you're talking about your respect, how you like to keep everybody at like you start everyone at a certain level. I agree with that. I think that goes back to, I have to treat this person the same level of respect that I feel like I deserve, or that I, it's not about feeling entitled. It's just about the realistic the thing is, you have to be realistic, okay? if you keep everybody at bay all the time and you say like, no, you got to earn my respect, you know what I'm saying, then you have to hold yourself up accountable. You have to do the same thing, right? You have to hold yourself and say like, okay, well, I have to earn their respect, right? So if you think about it, it's the same thing. Everybody has to start at the same playing field. So why not just go ahead and start at the same level and say like, I'm going to treat this person the way I want to be treated. But if they treat me like shit, then I know then this person, I have to be a little bit more guarded, or I can, you know, kind of dismiss them a little bit more. I'm not saying you have to be a dick back. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in like be just an asshole because someone's being like, again, I'm still going to respect you, but I already know that what you're kind of about, you know what I'm saying? And again, that could change. The person could redeem themselves. That's another thing, is that I feel like people have redemption. I think there should be some sort of like avenue for redemption. No, even if it takes a long time. I'm not saying you have to automatically be like, okay, you're good. You bought me a pie. Everything's fine. No, it's like obviously some roads are harder than others. Some barriers are going to be harder to break down. But there should be room for redemption. And it's the same thing with anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, anything that caused you pain. The world is too unpredictable, and I don't think we can predict, like I said, our life experiences and just legitimately say, this is the thing that I need, and I don't need any of this other stuff.
Like, it's like you can't just stay on, you know, one road, you know,
no,
right? Like
I don't think it's a good idea.
You know, there's different roads, and you can't just stay on the one, hoping that you're gonna get to where you need to go to.
Yeah, well, you're talking about like as far as like kind of like fate and stuff.
Yeah.
I was in a movie, and I said this in my other podcast, but he described life. You know, if you believe in fate and stuff like that, even if you don't, I feel like it's a good analogy, and I love analogies. He was saying that life is kind of like a current, like your life path is like a river. You know, the path is already set. But the thing is that in a river, you know, as you're going, you can divert when possible, right? If there's a different way you want to...
A safer way.
Kind of paddle your way to. I don't know. That's how I swim in a river with one hand, by the way. But most people, or a lot of people, sometimes they want to fight against the current. Right, and you're just sitting there, kind of swimming in place. So the thing is that you should divert when possible, but once you pick a lane, there are times when you really should just kind of let the current carry you, you know, because eventually, I mean, you're gonna end up in the same spot anyway. So I think that's a good way, and it happens, like I said, with information. Just because you believe something, because it makes you feel something, makes you feel safe, or it makes you feel, I don't know, even prideful. I don't think there's anything wrong with like legitimately challenging that belief. There's so many things that, like, I swear, like I'll read something, right, and I'll stay with me for like weeks, and I'll just be like, oh, like it's so prolific, that's so profound, like damn, like that's like the way I'm gonna live my life forever.
Mind blown.
And then I'll hear somebody or read something else, and I'm just like, oh shit, like yeah, I guess that's true. There's so many things that your mind, and then that's the biggest problem, right? It's just the way that our brains are, you know what I mean? Like if you think about, I always like to think is like life can be pretty simple, you know, in the terms of like cause and effect. I do truly believe that it's mostly cause and effect. You know, something happens, somebody does something, or something happens, and whether you know it or not, it influences and it affects your life, right? Starts raining right now. Am I gonna go outside to clean the yard? No. Was I gonna do it anyway? Hell no. No, just kidding. No, but you know what I mean? Like little things like that we don't even think about. You know, you're in traffic. You know, you don't know why that person is behind you, or why they're honking at you, or why they're in such a hurry. You know, we just react. You react most of the time. So knowing that, like how could you not just be a little bit critical about everything that comes into your noggin? To your noggin. You know, I don't know, man. Like, you and I are not going to be the same people in 5 years. That's what I'm saying.
No.
This whole podcast, like this whole
we might not even be together.
This whole recording, yeah. People hate when we say things like that. People, yeah, and that's another thing. Is like people believe. People get uncomfortable when we say that, and the thing is that they don't even know that the more uncomfortable they get, like the more we're gonna do it. Like that's how we are. Like we're trolling, okay? We're happy. We don't want to get divorced. But the thing is that Melissa and I,
unfortunately, yeah.
Shut up. Melissa and I talked about that so long ago, like when we first got together, because we come from divorced parents, or I mean, your parents were never even married technically.
I mean, they had a common law marriage.
Yeah,
technically.
They were together for a long time, but they never got married. They never had the paper. It's never on paper. And you know, my mom's been married a couple times.
Yeah, we both come from broken homes.
And you know. And it's like, whatever, you know. Obviously, we acknowledge, like, hey, like, this kind of sucks, you know. I kind of have some issues. And with,
I mean,
and
we both never wanted to get married.
We were like, hell no.
Marriage? Fuck that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, you and I always was like, marriage is, it's just a piece of paper. That's what we kept saying. It's just like, we don't need to. Yeah, we don't need to get married. Like, why? And then we're like, tax purposes. No, I'm kidding. That's a unseasoned sorry joke. We always say, we like to joke that we got married for the money, because I was joining the Air Force, and they were like,
we got married so I could get those benefits.
If you get married now, you'll get benefits and whatnot.
We got married to get those benefits.
Yes, queen. I don't know why I said that. But could you imagine if we had just let ourselves kind of like let the past and let like those preconceived notions of marriage. Like, what would have happened, you know? Like, we would still be together, you know what I mean? Or we would have gotten married like, eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. Like,
I don't.
So, you kind of just have to go.
Don't.
You kind of just got to go with the flow, dog. Kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, because, you know, he just kind of like gave me the ring. He's like, so do you want to? I was like, sure. I have nothing better to do. He's like, so
you
Saturday?
still don't apparently.
I was like,
I'm like, you still don't.
All right,
apparently,
it's good to me. Nothing on my schedule.
7 years ago, 7 years later, you still don't have anything better to do. That's why you're still here.
Right? I was like,
let's
see how long.
She's waiting for the 10 because it sounds more cool. It's, I was married for 10 years. If you say, I was married for 7.5, like that doesn't sound
I was
great.
like, what? You couldn't just, you know,
like,
suck it up for 3 more years?
I was like, what the hell? What happened? Why did you fall so short?
I really have to make sure.
I'm just saying, man, it's too unpredictable, you know. And I don't know if this day and age, like with my daughter, I worry because like I don't know if our daughters are gonna grow up being able to kind of have that freedom to decide. You know what I'm saying? Like, self accountability is a big thing. You know, like if you make a decision based on whatever, on the information that you have or whatever emotion, there's going to be consequences, you know? And it's the person who pulls the trigger, man. That's the person that's going to be held responsible. And that's what I want to teach my daughters. And to do that, I feel like to make the most well-informed decision, I think you have to, like I said, you have to look at everything from both sides. All right? Now, I want to acknowledge that there are things that make me react a certain way, that stir things up in me and make me, you know. There's
definitely things that stir me.
You know, and I can admit, like, oh, like crap, I shouldn't have said that, or I was doing that, you know, or I made that decision without thinking first.
Want to know one of the things that really stirs me up?
What?
Like when, you know, on Facebook and stuff like that, when you see people doing nice things, but they're videotaping it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a disconnect, right? But the thing is that nowadays it's like everybody's so used to it.
Like,
well, that's what when you were watching that thing about Ellen does that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, Ellen seems like a nice enough lady. I don't know her personally.
Like for me, it's like they say they're not trying to get something out of it, but I'm just like, why are you filming it though? Like, right. If you're doing something out of the kindness of your heart, it should be
there was that one,
out of the kindness of your heart.
That was the one about because you showed it to me and I'm like, what the hell did they do? Because I didn't even see what happened until
they gave somebody like shoes or something.
So it was like two students gave like some kid that always wore the same clothes. So they were like, oh, he probably needs some clothes. So they bought him some clothes. But it was like weird because it was like in a hallway. Like they were in the lockers and like the kids giving them the box and they're just like taping him. It's like, why? Why did you, what?
No, I feel like
because they wanted to be on Ellen.
Like a disconnect. Like it's just, Like, well, you guys were talking about it last time on your podcast too. Like, if you do a good thing, it should kind of go unnoticed. You know, like usually, like when you do bad things, it goes noticed. But when you do good, no one's gonna notice.
Yeah, like if you're doing your job right, no one will say anything.
Yeah,
most of the time. Well, that's the kind of the thing that irks me about it is that there's thousands, millions of people probably doing nice things all the time, but they're not acknowledged. And like I get it, it's like because it's not that's one. You know, it's kind of the same kind of hypocritical thing. Say, well, that's not what it's all about. And absolutely, it's not. There should be things that you do out of kindness of your heart that you. I mean, there's just kind of you just do them because it's a given. That's what I was trying to say. It's a given that you should be nice to people when you can, right? But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like everything's documented now. I mean, I guess it'll be really cool for like later on, like in like 200 years from now when we're long gone, people can like look back and be like, oh, look what people were doing back in 2000,
back in the Stone Age,
back in 2019, you know,
when their phones are like
it's really well documented,
embedded into their skin.
But wow, that kind of doesn't trip you out though? Because if you think about it, like some of the things that a lot of people believe now. I'm not trying to harp on religion, but it's the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah, he is.
Everything's I'm not judging you. By the way, please stop saying that. Everybody stop saying that. That's what you're doing. That's okay. Do you guys know the definition of judging? Judging means to come to a conclusion, right? To decide that you're going to comment. That's what you're doing. It's okay. I don't know why judgment became like has such a bad name.
But you're not judging.
No, I am. I'm making a judgment. I'm telling you. I think that it's okay to say, hey, like, it's because it sounds crappy because, hey, I'm going to judge you. But that's what it sounds. I think it's just a word that has such a negative.
Be like, hey, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's all it has to be. You just have to say I'm and like, I'm not. You don't have to cop out and be like, but I'm not judging you. Like, yeah, you are, and it's okay.
For all you people who record doing nice things, I'm judging you.
I don't. Yeah, we don't think that you should have to do that.
No, I definitely don't think you need to record yourself doing nice things.
Maybe you're just the worst person. I mean, if I could talk to a person who did that and I can ask them, you know, that'd be the best situation. But all we got is, perception. Perception is everything. Unfortunately,
like for me, it's one thing. Like if you know you have this event and you're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna donate all these things. You know.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine. But if you're like you have someone recording and you're like going and doing something nice just so you can.
Wait, what? What do you mean? That's not like the same thing.
No.
Like in an event, like you're like an organized event where a lot of people show up?
Yeah, like because I have this whole old theater buddy who on her son's first birthday, all the toys and stuff like that they got for his birthday, they asked their friends and family to buy gifts like for like different age groups and stuff like that, and they're gonna go donate that stuff. But like they're taking like pictures and showing him opening the presents to show what they're gonna donate. Like
right.
Like that wasn't just for show. Like it was. I think that was okay.
But yeah, well, like I said, it's perception because like for all we know, these kids had like the best of intentions, and the only reason they documented it was because they wanted to share with their school or their friends. I don't know.
Or like the people who like kind of like test humanity, like those people who like test like the homeless to see.
Oh, like do pranks and stuff.
Yeah, like they drop their wallet to see if the homeless is gonna steal the money and whatever.
Right,
and then when they don't, they give them like $100 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, now that we've come this generation, like we're so used to, like I said, everything's social media, everything's shareable. There's almost like no privacy. Like we're really teeter-tottering on that line of like what is too far, you know what I mean? Like what should you just keep to yourself type thing. And I don't know, maybe like I said, it's kind of scares me and intimidates me because like I don't know what my daughter, like when she's my age, I don't know what she's gonna have to be thinking about. Like think about it, when we're 30, like we're gonna be behind a little bit. That's just the way it happens. Like you think of all the stuff that now that we kind of make fun of our parents, like, my mom doesn't know how to use this, or like she doesn't know how to use the computer or whatever. She didn't even know what a computer was. Like she was already like older when the computers really started to become crucial. So we make fun of them. We make fun of like older people, like, oh, like you don't know technology, whatever, you're out of date. But like it's gonna happen to us. It's gonna happen to everybody, and the only thing you're gonna have is what you believe and what you think is right, and who knows, man? Like some of those beliefs, like I said, might be considered like out of touch. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, we're gonna still have our brick phones, and kids are gonna have their phones embedded in their skin.
I think about Google Glass, but the eye is like actual. The eye is glass. By the way, that's just a terrible idea. That's why it never went up. Because like, can you imagine? Like people are already distracted, like bumping into shit with like what looking down at their phone. Could you imagine they're like this?
Like imagine like texting like,
oh shit, like bumping each other.
They're just like moving their eyes or like texting.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible idea. But like I said, that's the truth.
Picture.
Like,
you have to wink.
Like right now, like left or wink. Oh, that girl was taking a selfie. You look so dumb. You probably have to be like a hand gesture or something.
No, but like when you take a picture of something, like, all right, say cheese. Oh yeah.
It's like, all right, here comes Flash. You got the flash in your eye. You have like a light in your uvula.
Okay.
Don't those get removed? Oh no, those are tonsils.
Yeah, those
your tonsils don't get. I mean, your uvula does not get removed.
No.
What happened? You wouldn't be able to talk, huh? Oh no, that's your gag reflex, right? I don't even know. What does a uvula do?
Just hangs back.
We'll hang that for another. We'll hang that. Well, sorry, you said hang.
It's just hanging there.
We'll save that for another podcast. The next podcast we'll talk. Next podcast is gonna be about the human anatomy. We'll just look at Melissa's EMT book. There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
What's hanging? My uvula.
My uvula. It's Flash. Darn it! What was I saying? I was saying that if you think about it, like all the people that like grew up with like slaves in their house. I know it kind of like
damn. You just like
we went there.
You just turned it around.
We went there. No, but I mean Mexicans were slaves too. But it's like people who grew up in that time.
Damn white people.
You think about it, like you're a kid and like there's a servant, there's somebody who like is always there and like they're a little bit different and like they're always like cleaning or whatever. And like that's the way you grew up. Could you imagine? And then like they're growing up and people are calling them like monsters and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. By the way, I'm not fucking. I'm not saying that slavery is right. I'm not saying that it was right. What I'm saying is that what a culture shock that must have been. For all of a sudden, like people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't think that way" or whatever, and people are like, "What are you talking about? Like this is how we've always done things.
Like this is how we grew up."
Exactly, and things like that are gonna happen. It's gonna happen to us. Like it's probably already happening. There's a lot of crap that a lot of people are saying that it takes me by surprise. I'm just like, really, like,
oh yeah,
it's getting to that now. Like really, like that we have to, like, you know what I mean? Like you think it's like, oh, it'll be a while, and then people like bring up something and like, oh shit, like. Really?
Well, yeah.
That's the level we're at now. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's like there's stuff like a lot of that now. Like people just
like parenting
things and stuff like that.
Parenting has changed, like even in our time. Cause
yeah, you can't spank. You know, not in public or stuff like that.
Right.
Well, you can, but you can't. You know, like really spank.
Well, I mean, just think about like people talk about this all the time, but like the culture now is like there's so many like school shootings. Like it's weird. Like it's something that is very real, and now kids. I mean, when we were in middle school, I remember we did like Code Blues. Yeah. Which is like what's it? Not attempted shooter. What's it called? Active shooter.
Where you would turn off the lights, lock the door, and then get
into a nice
fetal position on the wall.
Get to a nice killable position in the corner. Just aching for a grenade in there. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, that's terrible. No, but you know what I mean? Like, it was weird. Like, even when we were young, we were like, oh, what the hell? Like, this is kind of weird. And
like, what?
I think we had like
when is there gonna be a shooter in a school?
But now it's like a real thing that kids are probably like walking around thinking.
I mean, like, it's way too normal now. Like, there's just.
I mean, I don't think it's normal.
Well, no, it's not normal. It's way too common.
The thing is that it's a real. It's. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, like polio, right? You were like always scared, like I could get polio. Right. And now we don't think about it because we eradicated it. It's gone. And it's like one of those things, like it's just the thing that you accept. Like, hey man, like my school gets shot up. And it's a weird thing, like when you have to accept certain things like that. Like it's kind of sad They like your kids are kind of accepting that this is a reality of their lifetime. It just is.
That's a possibility that might happen.
And it's just it's weird. It's so weird. But yeah, like that's a good example. You know, people are gonna grow up. This generation is gonna grow up thinking like, oh yeah, back in the day people just shot up schools. It was just a normal thing, you know. And then
shot up anywhere.
And hopefully, when they grow up, that'll be something different. It's like, oh yeah, no, we never had that. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? That's a weird example. I should have just used myself. The thing is that I didn't grow up thinking that my school could get shot at any time. That's what I'm saying. But now kids are.
Yeah.
And so for me to sit there, for me to sit here and be like, there's no reason for you to be scared. Like, don't be scared. Like, it's not a real thing. They can't comprehend that. It doesn't matter. When I'm like 50 and they're like 30, 20 something like me, and I'm saying like, I don't know why people are so worried about school shootings or whatever. They're like, yeah, because you fucking didn't have to go through that. God forbid you have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's, man, everything you believe in right now is going to be challenged, and it's going to be, you know, like I say, you hold on to it. I don't know. I don't think that's a good way to go about it. I think you really should let information. Stop licking my foot. Sorry. I'm trying to like say something serious and my dog keeps licking my foot. I think you really just need to be ready to, like I said, you don't even have to change anything. You just adjust it. You can just adjust it. I really hope that more people can do that, because I don't know, man. Like sometimes it scares me. Like I see things, people what they're saying, and they're like saying it with like full conviction.
Well, one of my my classmates, because I'm going to school right now for EMT, just in case you didn't catch that. But my friend, she's originally from Fiji. She speaks Hindi, and she was on the phone with her mom grocery shopping, and she was speaking Hindi, and some guy just flat out called her a terrorist.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Just called her a terrorist.
Right.
But she just ignored him and just like kept talking to her mom.
You said her husband was pretty mad about that, right?
Yeah, her husband's in the service and he was pissed.
I mean, and that guy,
I would have been pissed.
I mean, that guy who's called her that, I mean, we don't know. I mean, maybe he was raised his whole life to be thinking that. I mean, and it's easy just to say like, fuck that guy.
But like, you can't think about it. It's just like he lives in a town in El Paso, full of like a lot of immigrants. Right. You know, full of like Hispanics, minorities. You know, well, you know, the population of white people here isn't very high, and you know, he comes and he calls someone who's different, you know, a terrorist. Is really?
I mean, shit, man.
It's like you're in the wrong place, you know, to be calling someone a terrorist when you're surrounded by like immigrants and Hispanics and, you know, a few. Not that we are, you know, just like.
No, I didn't say that. No,
it was your face.
No, I'm waiting for you to finish.
You know, just like.
Not that we are.
You don't expect that like from like minorities, you know, like.
I mean,
for us to be like.
But.
I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
That dude was... You kind of lost it a little bit. That dude was probably taught... I mean, either he was fucking around or if he really did feel that way. You know, we don't know what the hell kind of beliefs that he was raised with or he was, you know, he's dealing with now. I mean...
But like I kind of also think about it, it's like, why did he call her terrorist? Like Hindis haven't done anything to.
Well, that's besides the point. I mean, he was probably racially profiling her. Like he's like, oh, she looks Arabian or Middle Eastern. Well, I think India is from the Middle East. No, I think India is part of Asia.
Asia, it's Asia.
That's the problem, man. There's too many denominations. We should all just be one thing. I'm just kidding. It's inconvenient. Don't know what you are.
So especially
Hispanics, you know, we fucking blonde with blue eyes. Like my kid has red hair and blue eyes, but she's Hispanic. What?
She's beautiful.
What are you talking about? She looks like a candle, a white burning candle. That's what I'm saying, man. Like I
promise I did not cheat on her.
Every point,
she is his.
Next episode, DNA test. I was kidding. Like I'm saying, like that's a perfect example, dude. Like as you go through life, you know, you're gonna encounter these people who just believe something completely different than you, and they could probably justify the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Even if they don't. I've met people like that. It's like, well, why do you believe in this? And they go, because that's the thing. It's the truth. That's it. You just believe it. It's faith. And I'm just like, I can't do that. I really can't. Like I try, but I can't. It seems kind of dangerous. Dangerous, and I mean like dangerous in the sense of like, like you're not willing to waver, right? And you're gonna do whatever it takes based on this criteria only, right? And you could probably miss something, or you could misjudge something. But I guess it is kind of peaceful, and I guess I kind of relate to when people can. Like, those are the types of people that I can get along with very easily. Somebody comes up to me and is like, this is what I believe in, and you're not going to change my mind. Because you know what that person's about. You don't have to... I think people like me is the people that people usually don't like because they probably consider me like a two-face or like a flip-flopper, right? Or like right in the fence type of thing. Because, I really like to get both sides before I make an informed decision.
You see, that's kind of what I like about like the Amish. Where they have like their community, they raise you, and those beliefs. But then in Rumspringa, when you're 18, they allow you to go out into the world, experience it,
right? And
you make the decision yourself if you want to stay out in the world or if you want to come back. And most of them actually come back,
right? Obviously, and then there's the ones that get banished. But
yeah,
I mean, but it's I think it's made very clear for them.
No, yeah.
And I mean, I know they made a whole show about it. Like, oh, I was rejected by the Amish. I was like, well, you wanted to eat Gatorade.
Eat Gatorade?
Eat Gatorade.
Eat.
That's why.
So they put it in the freezer.
He was so fucking weird.
Which they
didn't want him back. So that weirdo likes to eat Gatorade.
They put it in the freezer, which they don't have.
No. He fries it in a pan. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
he gets it all thick with with flour and fries it.
Honestly, man,
like a freaking tostada.
You gotta take a stand. I think that's what it comes down to. Okay, that's what indoctrination is all about. You take a stand. You take a stand and you say like, "This is what we think." You sit down and you say, "A ver qué pasa? Let's see what happens." And I think
you're like a boulder. That's a nice boulder.
A boulder. That's a nice boulder.
Try to move it.
I think for certain things that works, right? Like but the fact that we can justify almost about anything.
It's like SpongeBob when he found that boulder.
You're really stuck in this boulder analogy. What else about a boulder, man?
You like SpongeBob episode?
Yes, I know. The pioneers used to ride this for years. Yeah, for miles or whatever. You're stupid. I like how you're just like, I'm talking over here and you're just thinking like, the boulder. But like a boulder, we must never... We must be heavy like a boulder. I just think for certain things, I guess, that works for the most part. But I don't know, man. I think everyone has a time. That's the thing, man. I don't know. I think everyone is gonna have a time, or they already had a time, or they're having a time where their faith is gonna be tested.
I think everybody goes through that.
Everybody goes through that. It has to. It's impossible. I mean, unless you live like in a commune, like a cult, then you never see anyone else. I mean, how peaceful must that be? You don't know anything. You just know what you believe, and that's it. I think I understand why.
I'm too strong-willed to live in a cult.
But doesn't that make sense? Do you think that's why it's so attractive? Yes.
I'm too strong-willed. I question everything.
That's what I'm saying. But there's got to be some peace and kind of knowing and just like, hey, I believe in this, and I'm just gonna boom. That's it. Never ever gonna question it ever again.
I question everything.
You know what I mean? There has to be there has to be a peace. That's probably why it's so attractive, because there's so many things out there in this world that we have no idea what the fuck. Like we think we understand and we have names for it. We probably have like, gravity. Like, isn't it weird? Like, if you think about gravity, like you can explain what gravity is. The force that pulls you towards Earth, right? To the center of the Earth's core. But then you're like, what? How? It just fucking does. Even if you can ask a scientist, that doesn't mean that you're gonna be like, oh shit, okay, yeah, that's cool. Boom, cool story, bro.
Boom, clarity.
No, you kind of just accept it because it's like either you have a better explanation yourself or you kind of just go with it. Maybe that's what it is. You talk to smarter people and you just follow the things that make sense. Don't necessarily mean that you can explain them or you can teach them, but it just makes sense. And since you can't come up with something better, You just go with it. So, what's the moral of the story here? Is that 10 years from now, this podcast is going to be completely obsolete. And all the things that we said here are probably going to be either ridiculous or they're going to be disproven.
In 10 years, none of this is going to matter.
None of this. Everything I'm saying right now is relevant. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe something. Like if I say Whataburger is delicious, I would hope.
It's still relevant.
Hope to grace that Whataburger is still
relevant.
Amazing. Unless it's like a sex scandal or something. Whataburger raped me.
No, the whole story.
The whole chain.
Restaurant? Oh, okay.
Every single Whataburger raped me. So, with that being said, we're going to leave it at that with rape, Whataburger rape.
It will never do that.
I'm kidding, guys. It's a restaurant. You can't rape people.
And it would never do that.
And if it did, then we have bigger problems in the world. Fucking raping buildings? Like, holy shit. Michael Bay, get on that. All right, we're gonna wrap this up.
Please don't listen to my husband.
We're gonna wrap this up. Listen, again. Oh wow, I thought we were already in an hour. We're only at 56 minutes.
Okay,
almost.
Close to enough.
We're just gonna sit here for 4 minutes. I'm kidding. Listen, guys. If you guys have anything to say, if you guys think like we didn't touch on something, please, especially if you disagree.
If you want to critique us too,
please,
it's fine.
Somebody. Give me something to talk about. No, I'm kidding. No, really, like
because I give him nothing.
We do appreciate you guys' comments. Even if, like I said, if you guys want to put a dislike, we got a dislike on the last one, the one about the world doesn't care about you. It's probably because of the title. You know, you read it and you're like, oh my god, that's so pessimistic.
I know because that podcast was gold.
It was. It was probably like bronze at best. People were like, oh my god, these people are negative, and they're like, screw you.
Is that how they talk?
Yes, but you know what? I would have much preferred if you left a comment.
Yeah. Why you didn't dislike it?
Then you could have told me, and then I would have been like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I am an asshole.
Think about it.
I should just stop talking.
Think about it. Huh?
Nothing.
What did you say? I am an asshole. Oh yeah, because it's me. You're not gonna say I'm an asshole too.
Because I hardly talk. You're the one doing all the talking.
Damn! Look at that. That's a. He should be a lawyer. Your Honor, as a matter of fact, I didn't even say anything. You can see my husband.
If you look at the transcript,
yeah, my husband.
You see this?
All the blue, those are my husband's letters. The red is mine. It's just, you can see it's a sea. It's an ocean. There's a little bit of red.
That's pretty much.
It would just be little specks of red.
You see,
this ocean of blue.
This is why I think you like our podcast because with your cousins,
yeah,
you're the one that barely says things.
It's because if they let me go, I'll never shut the hell up.
Exactly, and I let him go because I mean,
it makes it easier on her.
Yeah, I just have to sit here.
She just likes to do her hair look good on the headphones.
No,
no. Anyway, please, like I said, we respect all comments. We encourage you guys to criticize those and tell us, ask us questions, whatever. You guys have any ideas for other topics, feel free to leave them. You can follow us on Instagrams.
Then we'll leave a poll saying if we should get divorced or not. I'm just kidding. Let the public decide.
I don't want to now. I'm scared. After they hear all the crap I'm saying, they're probably gonna be like, "Yes, do it." Instagram, Reject Beansoup, Instagram. Links in the description for like my Snapchat, Hispanico, but all that stuff, like I said, is in the description. Check out my cousin's podcast. I do a podcast with my cousins, Oscar and Irvin, where I don't talk as much.
Yes. So if you want to see one where he doesn't talk a lot.
It's a little bit more funny because, like I said, I'm not the one making the jokes because you guys know I keep the jokes rolling in this one. So if you guys want to see somebody do a better job at that,
Although it is,
Oh, very vulgar.
Yeah, it's pretty vulgar.
If you're a girl, you probably don't want to listen to it.
I mean, I still do, but
it's nothing but
I'm being a supportive.
But you know
wife.
them. You know them.
Yeah.
You're being a supportive wife. Well, you're saying that it sucks.
No. It's actually really good. But it is pretty vulgar. So if you're
just,
and I'm used to, them. So.
And that is called.
I'm used to it.
That is called Los Terrícolas Podcast, but all of that will be in the description.
But yeah, you guys should check it out. It's funny.
Description.
I like watching it.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for listening. As always, again, criticisms. We need them. We need them. Keep us in check, guys, because we're just gonna sit here and we're just gonna say everything because we're right.
At least
we're never wrong.
I'm just gonna stand here. I'm gonna
bait him. I'm gonna bait him. Everything I said is right, and I never make a mistake. That'll get us some comments. I mean, although it's been an hour, so probably not.
Well, technically, everything I said.
Shut up. Okay, we're gonna end it. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Bye, everyone.